There is technology that is directly aimed at identifying people based upon the way they move and walk. That signature is as powerful as facial recognition.
The FBI has just revealed shocking new details about the masked man, and the story is moving faster than anyone imagined. For days, investigators have been piecing together clues, studying surveillance footage, and following every lead in a mystery that has gripped the nation. Every small discovery now feels like a breakthrough. Every shadowy movement a possible key to unlocking the truth. As the investigation intensifies, tension builds. Who is this masked figure? What were they planning? And how far does their reach extend? Join us as we unveil this new evidence that happened within 24 hours and how it changed everything we thought we knew about this case. FBI reveals stunning new details about the masked man. The FBI has just dropped shocking new details about the masked man, and the story is moving faster than anyone could have predicted. For weeks, investigators have been quietly piecing together clues, studying surveillance footage, and following every lead with painstaking care. What once seemed like scattered fragments of a puzzle is now starting to form a clearer picture. A picture that hints at deliberate planning, hidden intentions, and a chilling level of precision. Every small discovery is being treated like a breakthrough. Every shadowy movement captured on camera is now under intense scrutiny, and every tiny detail could hold the key to revealing the person behind the mask.
So perhaps the hope is they'll be able to recover additional images.
From the moment the masked individual appeared on surveillance footage, questions have flooded in. Who is this person? Why were they there? How did they move through the area without being noticed for so long? Officials say the individual acted deliberately, avoiding clear camera angles and moving with a calm, almost measured pace. Nothing about the behavior seems random. Each pause, each glance, each step has been studied frame by frame, with analysts trying to decode patterns that could provide insight into identity and motive. What appears to be a simple act of concealment is actually layered with careful thought, suggesting someone who knew exactly what they were doing. At the same time, forensic teams are working tirelessly behind the scenes. Items recovered from the scene are undergoing advanced testing in secure laboratories, and every trace, from fibers to microscopic particles, is being examined for clues. Officials have made it clear that this work takes time, but it is also critical. Even the smallest piece of evidence, a glove, a footprint, or a stray item, can become the turning point in an investigation. DNA analysis, material composition, and behavioral patterns are all being carefully compared, creating a growing body of evidence that could finally point directly to the masked individual. Timing has emerged as another critical element. Investigators believe that the individual's movements were concentrated within a very specific window of time. That narrow period, they say, may hold answers about the person's intentions and actions. Every second within those hours is being reconstructed, mapped, and cross-checked against digital records, phone signals, and vehicle movements. Even a minor detail, a passing car, a brief noise, a shadow, could prove crucial. The public has also been drawn into the story, as officials release select images and details to solicit tips. Each tip is carefully reviewed, cross-checked, and verified. Sometimes, someone notices a small characteristic, the way the person walks, a unique piece of clothing, or an unusual item can become the missing link that changes everything. Investigators emphasize that the mask may hide a face, but it cannot hide behavior, movement patterns, or the digital traces left behind.
Authorities are paying attention to the suspected kidnapper's gait. The way he walks is potentially a vital clue.
Even with new information emerging, authorities are cautious. No arrests have been announced, and no public identification has been made. Every step is deliberate, ensuring that the evidence is solid, verifiable, and ready for legal action when the time comes. Yet despite the silence on names, the intensity of the investigation is unmistakable. Every lead is being followed, every possibility explored, and every detail examined multiple times. What makes this case so gripping is the combination of mystery and method. The masked figure may be trying to stay hidden, but investigators are systematically closing in. The careful study of behavior, forensic evidence, and timing is creating a pressure that the individual cannot escape. And as more details come to light, one question dominates. Who is this person? What were they planning? And how close are authorities to uncovering the truth behind the mask?
To the FBI and to other law enforcement that they may be able to start getting more information about who this person is.
The next hours could prove decisive, and every development is a reminder that in cases like this, the smallest piece of evidence can change everything. The story is far from over, and the hunt for answers continues with intensity, precision, and relentless determination. The 24 hours that changed everything. The focus now turns to the 24 hours that investigators believe hold the key to the entire mystery. According to federal officials, this short period is not just important, it is central to everything. They have been rebuilding that day step by step, almost minute by minute, trying to understand how the masked figure's movements fit into the bigger picture. Authorities explained that before the masked individual appeared on surveillance footage, the environment around the scene seemed normal. There were no immediate warning signs, no loud disturbances reported at that exact time. That calm setting is what makes the appearance of the covered figure even more unsettling. Investigators believe the person chose the timing carefully. It was not random. It was deliberate. During that narrow window, the masked individual was captured moving through specific areas with focus and direction. Law enforcement specialists studying the video say the person did not appear confused or lost. Instead, the movements suggest planning. The figure avoided drawing attention and seemed aware of surroundings. This has led agents to believe that whoever was behind the mask may have studied the location beforehand. Officials are also examining digital footprints connected to that same day. Phone signals, vehicle movements, and nearby activity logs are all being reviewed. Modern investigations rely heavily on technology, and in this case, agents are combining traditional police work with digital tracking tools. They are mapping who was present, who left, and who entered the area during those crucial hours. Another detail shared by investigators involves how quickly the masked figure disappeared after being seen. The person did not remain in the area long. That short appearance has raised more questions than answers. Where did the individual go next? Was there transportation waiting nearby? Did someone assist them? These questions are guiding the direction of the inquiry. Law enforcement teams from multiple agencies are said to be working together, sharing resources and intelligence. This level of coordination usually signals that authorities consider the situation serious and complex. Each agency brings its own expertise, whether in forensic science, behavior analysis, or cyber tracking. What stands out most is how investigators keep returning to the same time frame. They believe something within those 24 hours connects the masked person to the larger event. It could be a phone call, a vehicle sighting, a small action that seemed unimportant at first. Sometimes the smallest overlooked detail becomes the turning point in a case. As we move forward, the next question becomes even more compelling. If those 24 hours are the center of the mystery, then what exactly does the surveillance footage reveal about what the masked man was truly doing during that time? What the surveillance footage really shows. As investigators continued to study the recordings, they began to see more than just a person wearing a face covering. They started to see behavior, patterns, and possible intent. The surveillance clips, taken from different angles, show the masked individual moving with steady steps. There was no rushing, no obvious panic. The body language appeared controlled. For trained analysts, that kind of calm movement can say a lot. Officials reported that the person's clothing covered nearly every visible feature. A face covering concealed identity.
Intriguing clues. That ski mask has unique stitching. Notice the seams around the eyes and mouth.
And the rest of the outfit appeared chosen to avoid leaving clear identifying marks. Agents noted how the individual positioned themselves carefully, often staying just outside the clearest view of the cameras. That detail alone has drawn attention because it suggests awareness of surveillance systems. Experts who specialize in video enhancement are working to sharpen images frame by frame. They are examining posture, height estimation, and stride length. Even the way someone walks can sometimes help narrow down possibilities. Investigators are comparing these physical traits with databases and prior records, hoping for a match. So far, no public identification has been announced, but the work is ongoing. Authorities also confirmed that physical evidence found near the area has been collected and processed. Items recovered were sent for laboratory testing. While officials have not released full forensic results, they explained that certain findings are being carefully analyzed to determine whether they connect directly to the masked individual. These examinations include material fibers, possible biological traces, and other microscopic clues that could help confirm identity. Another important point investigators shared involves the sequence of actions captured on camera. The masked person did not wander aimlessly. The movement path appears intentional. Agents are mapping that route in detail, studying how it lines up with the timeline already established. If the route connects with other known events, it could strengthen the case significantly. The FBI has also encouraged the public to review the released images carefully. Sometimes, someone recognizes a small detail others miss, a familiar posture, a unique way of walking, or clothing that stands out. Tips continue to come in, and each one is evaluated seriously. Even information that seems minor could become important when combined with other evidence. What makes this footage powerful is not just what it shows, but what it suggests. A masked face hides identity, but behavior can reveal intention. And investigators believe that hidden within those recorded moments may be the clue that finally breaks the case open. Now the question becomes even deeper. If the surveillance images show planning and awareness, what does that say about the person behind the mask? And how close are investigators to uncovering who that person really is? Inside the FBI investigation. As the investigation moved beyond the surface details, federal agents began focusing heavily on science and strategy. This stage is less visible to the public, but it is often where real progress happens. Behind laboratory doors and in secure offices, specialists are working quietly to connect every physical trace, every digital sign, and every movement pattern to a real person. Officials confirmed that items recovered near the scene were sent for advanced forensic testing. These examinations are not simple checks. Scientists study tiny fibers, invisible skin cells,
using a technique called reverse infrared technology, and shows features like eyebrows, flesh, and parts of a mustache,
and even microscopic particles that cannot be seen with the human eye. Modern laboratories can analyze biological traces and compare them with national databases. If there is a match, it could instantly narrow the search. If there is no match, investigators still gain direction by ruling people out. DNA testing, when available, can be powerful. However, it is not always immediate. Samples must be carefully preserved, processed, and verified to avoid errors. Authorities emphasized that they are following strict procedures to protect the integrity of the evidence. Every step is documented. Every result is reviewed more than once. In serious cases like this, one mistake could damage the entire investigation, so precision matters deeply. Beyond physical evidence, behavioral experts are also involved. These specialists study how the masked individual moved and behaved. The calm pace, the choice of clothing, the careful positioning near cameras, all of this is being examined. Professionals trained in behavioral science can sometimes determine whether a person is experienced, nervous, familiar with the location, or acting alone. While no official profile has been fully released, investigators have indicated that the person's actions appear intentional rather than accidental. Technology is playing a major role as well. Digital tracking tools allow law enforcement to analyze phone signals in specific areas during certain time frames. They can review which devices were present and how long they remained nearby. Vehicle tracking systems, traffic cameras, and license plate readers are also part of the puzzle. By layering digital information over the physical timeline, agents can create a clearer map of what happened during those critical hours. Search warrants have reportedly been used in connection with the case, allowing investigators to collect additional materials for examination. When law enforcement takes this step, it usually means they believe certain locations or individuals may hold relevant information. Items gathered during searches can include electronics, clothing, tools, or other materials that might connect back to the surveillance footage. Cooperation between agencies has strengthened the investigation. Local officers, federal agents, forensic scientists, and digital analysts are all contributing expertise. Each group focuses on a different piece of the puzzle. Together, they form a larger investigative network. This coordinated approach often increases the speed and accuracy of complex cases. Public involvement remains important. Authorities continue to encourage tips from anyone who may recognize details from the released footage. Sometimes a family member, coworker, or neighbor notices something small, a piece of clothing, a backpack style, or a change in someone's routine. Even subtle behavioral shifts can raise important questions. Law enforcement carefully screens each tip to separate strong leads from general speculation. Investigators have also clarified what they have not confirmed. As of now, no public arrest has been announced and no official suspect name has been released. Officials stress that speculation can harm investigations. They are working to build a case based on solid proof rather than assumptions. This cautious approach protects both the integrity of the case and the rights of individuals. At the same time, there is a growing sense that progress is being made. Each lab result, each digital record, and each verified tip brings investigators closer to clarity. Cases involving masked individuals can be especially challenging because identity is intentionally hidden. However, masks cannot erase physical evidence. They cannot completely hide movement patterns. They cannot stop technology from tracing digital presence. What makes this stage of the investigation so intense is the quiet determination behind it. There are no dramatic public confrontations yet, no headline announcing an arrest. Instead, there is careful, patient work happening every day. Evidence is being tested, timelines are being tightened, possibilities are being narrowed. And slowly, piece by piece, the circle around the masked figure appears to be shrinking. As science and strategy continue to uncover deeper layers, one question grows stronger. When the evidence finally aligns, when physical traces, digital footprints, and behavioral analysis point in the same direction, will it reveal a lone individual acting alone or something far more complex hiding behind that single mask? What happens next and what we still don't know? As the investigation grows deeper, attention is now turning to what remains unknown and what could happen next. Even though federal agents have shared new developments, there are still important gaps. These missing pieces are not signs of failure. Instead, they show how complex the case truly is. In serious investigations, authorities do not reveal everything at once. Some information is held back to protect the process and prevent mistakes. One of the biggest unanswered questions is motive. Investigators have focused heavily on identifying the masked individual, but understanding why this person acted the way they did is just as important. Behavior experts are studying patterns from the footage to determine whether the actions suggest personal intent, careful planning, or outside influence. Motive often connects directly to identity. Once the reason becomes clearer, the suspect list can shrink quickly. Another area still under review involves communication records. Digital experts are examining call logs, text data, and online activity that occurred within the critical time frame. Modern cases rely strongly on electronic evidence because phones and devices often leave silent trails. Even when someone deletes messages or attempts to erase activity, digital recovery tools can sometimes restore hidden data. Investigators are carefully analyzing these records to see if they connect anyone to the masked figure's movements. Transportation is another key factor. Authorities are studying traffic cameras, road sensors, and vehicle data from the surrounding areas. If the masked individual arrived or left using a vehicle, there may be recorded evidence. Even partial images, such as a headlight pattern or a vehicle shape, can help narrow possibilities.
A Ring camera captured the video of a car about Guthrie's house, same time she was abducted. The car is linked to the case.
Law enforcement teams often reconstruct vehicle paths across multiple camera points to track direction and timing. There is also the possibility that the masked person did not act entirely alone. Investigators have not confirmed the involvement of others, but they are considering every angle. Sometimes, assistance comes in indirect ways. Someone may have provided transportation without knowing full details. Someone else may have noticed unusual behavior but dismissed it at the time. These indirect connections are now being reviewed carefully. Authorities have stressed that speculation on social media can interfere with progress. While public interest is understandable, spreading unverified claims can create confusion. Investigators prefer information that comes directly through official tip lines, where it can be properly examined. Each credible lead is documented, checked, and either confirmed or dismissed based on facts. Another important element still pending is the final outcome of certain forensic examinations. Some laboratory results take longer due to the precision required. Experts must verify findings multiple times before conclusions are announced. This careful process ensures that any future legal steps are built on solid, reliable evidence. Rushing results can damage credibility, so patience remains critical. Despite the unanswered questions, there are signs that the investigation is tightening. Law enforcement agencies continue to coordinate efforts. Resources remain active. Specialists are reviewing data repeatedly to avoid overlooking small but meaningful details. In complex cases, breakthroughs sometimes come unexpectedly from information that seemed minor at first. For families and communities following the case, the waiting can feel heavy. Uncertainty creates tension. Every update brings hope, but also reminds everyone that the truth has not fully surfaced yet. Officials understand this emotional weight. They have assured the public that the case remains a priority and that progress is being made, even if it is not always visible. Looking ahead, several outcomes are possible. An identification may come through forensic confirmation. A digital trail may link directly to a suspect. A tip from someone who recognizes a detail could provide the missing connection. In many past investigations, a single overlooked clue eventually unlocked everything. What makes this stage especially important is how close it feels to resolution. The masked figure may have attempted to stay hidden, but hiding becomes harder as evidence layers build. Technology, science, and human awareness are powerful tools. When combined, they create pressure that is difficult to escape. As we stand at this point in the story, one final thought lingers. When the next official announcement comes, whether it reveals an arrest, a breakthrough, or a new direction, will it answer the mystery completely, or will it uncover an even deeper truth behind the mask that no one expected? If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and also click the next video shown on your screen.